What's up guys, and welcome back to the Kamui Dimension for another super juicy video. Today we're talking about Boruto Chapter 69, and this was a pretty good chapter with a lot of big revelations, so that means we can celebrate. So for the 90% of you guys who are new, you know what to do. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content to support the channel and my work ethic. And for my regular viewers and you new guys too, please watch the video all the way to the end because I have some questions I would like some feedback on. But before we talk about anything else, RIP to our Sarada and Kawaki shippers.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the... No.
Sarada didn't deny to Mitsuki that she likes Boruto, and I'm not surprised at all by this. I think Boruto and Sarada being together in the future just makes sense with their chemistry, and I think Kawaki and Sumire makes more sense for Kawaki's character given their backstories and some scenes in the anime. Or perhaps they'll actually date Eida. If you guys want a video talking more about that kind of stuff, just let me know in the comment section below. But now let's walk through the events of Chapter 69, and then I'll give you guys my overall take on it. Like I said, this was a pretty decent chapter. It was not the most action heavy, and it was a pretty slow chapter, and I do have one main critique, but we got a bunch of important bits of information, and if you read the chapter, then you don't need to ask me why.
Why? Seriously? You asked why?
We start off with Amado surprised to see Eida alive, and Eida basically says, "Oh, Amado, you're such a stupid sazibaka." And then Amado went from looking like this when Kawaki activated his karma seal to shaking in his boots when he saw Eida. Delta then tries to kill Eida, but then Eida reminds Delta that she can see her panties, and then tells Delta to remove her leg that was pinning down code. So this is actually really important. I said before in my video about Boruto possibly killing Sasuke that Eida seems to have some level of control or influence on others when they are in her presence based on her interactions with Bug. But she can't really influence you when you're not in her presence, like with Code when he was fighting everybody. This chapter pretty much confirmed that, because Delta immediately listened to Eida's orders and moved her leg off of Code, and she didn't even know why she was obeying her orders. Shikamaru then calls for backup, and we transition over to Boruto and Sasuke. Sasuke apologizes for not being there when Momoshiki rampaged, and says that the village shouldn't hate anybody besides himself, reminding us of what Sasuke's philosophy of being Hokage was in Naruto Shippuden, and what Sasuke means by protecting the village from the shadows. Boruto explains that he asked Kawaki to kill him, but Sasuke tells him that the village would still be biased against Kawaki for killing Boruto, and Sasuke is saying this based on his experiences during Naruto. The village hated Itachi for killing the Uchiha clan without understanding the true circumstances. The village hated Naruto for having Kurama inside him after Kurama destroyed the village and led to Minato's death. And some villagers still hate Sasuke for what he did in Naruto Shippuden. Boruto then talks about how Kawaki did this because they were brothers, and then Sasuke seems to be thinking about his relationship with Itachi and Naruto as well. I think Sasuke noticed the difference between who Boruto calls a brother and who Sasuke called a brother. His real brother Itachi did anything and everything to protect Sasuke and keep him alive, and Naruto did everything he could to save Sasuke and refused to kill him. Sasuke's brothers did the opposite of what Boruto's brother did, and I think he picked up on that here. And then I'm afraid we get some big foreshadowing and death flags for Sasuke. Boruto goes to return Sasuke's headband, but Sasuke tells Boruto to keep it, despite how important it is to him. And that alone is not really the best sign, giving away his prized possession. And then he says, "I might be the one having to show his resolve next," right after talking about Boruto's resolve to die. That's again not really the best sign. And since Shikamaru called for backup earlier, and based on how Delta and the others responded to Eida's orders, I'm really thinking the idea that Eida manipulates Sasuke and Sasuke asks Boruto to kill him is definitely getting to be more and more likely to possibly happen. But we then cut to Mitsuki and Sarada, where Mitsuki says that knowing that Boruto could have died without him being there to help him gives him chills, and how if someone tried to kill Boruto, he doesn't know what he would do to that person. So in other words, if Mitsuki had been there, he might have gone on a sage mode rampage against Kawaki in anger. He then says, "That came out disturbed." Sarada then talks about how she wants to be able to help Boruto more.
Nice.
Mitsuki then says, "So you do like him," and Sarada gets all flustered and sweaty, and doesn't deny it when Mitsuki asked, but Sarada then calls Mitsuki out and says how Mitsuki's eyes light up when it comes to Boruto, and then they talk about how they need to get stronger to face the Otsutsuki threat. We then cut to Naruto and Kawaki, where Kawaki finally wakes up, and Naruto mentions how this is just like the first time they met. Kawaki asks Naruto, "You're not gonna condemn me for killing Boruto?" And Naruto tells Kawaki Boruto is still alive because of the karma, and Kawaki is shocked. Naruto looks pained for a second, but then he gives Kawaki the in-character type of talk no jutsu I want to see, telling him how he's grateful to Kawaki and that he is Naruto's family and belongs in Konoha. I would have been a little bit annoyed if he started yelling at Kawaki or something. Ino then calls for backup, and you see the difference between Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto leaves and makes an excuse for leaving to keep Kawaki and Sumire from following him, whereas Sasuke just tells Boruto what's up and says, "Come with me." We then get a very interesting scene with Kawaki looking at his karma, and then he activated his new eye, which means he can use that eye even in base now like Jigen could, and he actually looks a lot like Jigen when that eye is activated, just with a different hairstyle.
Look at the top of his head!
I'm thinking Kawaki might shrink himself and go follow Naruto in secret, but we'll have to wait and see. We then finally cut back to Eida and the rest of them, where Shikamaru is able to use his shadow possession jutsu on Eida because the jutsu doesn't directly inflict harm, which fits similarly with what I said in my video about Eida and Damon's weaknesses, where you might be able to restrain her, but just not kill her. Boru's virus functions pretty similarly to Shikamaru's shadow possession, it's just easier to use and lasts longer, so I think it makes sense that that could work too, so it looks like we're on the right track with that video, and I do recommend watching it after this one. Shikamaru then uses Ino to talk to Amado telepathically and asks Amado who Eida is and how to counter her. Amado explains that they are her captives and that she enchants you on an instinctual level and that no one can escape her ability, including himself. So unless you think Amado is lying and just acting here, including him shaking in his boots, we can go ahead and debunk the Amado is an Atsuki and Amado is Eida's father theories like I've said in the past that I'm not really on board with so far. Amado is just a slimy Sasibaka. And to everyone who thought we were gonna get a Delta versus Eida battle, joke's on you, Delta just thinks Eida is too cute. Amado then explains how different people experience different levels of symptoms, where someone like Delta just becomes infatuated by Eida, whereas Shikamaru is less extreme and just gets a fever and can't kill her. Amado then explains how you can't escape her unless she dies, and repeatedly mentions how futile it is to resist her, which really makes you wonder why on earth Amado gave her this ability, or if it's a case where everyone just awakens certain abilities on their own from Amado's experiments, but he doesn't actually just straight up say, "Here, I'll give you this ability." Amado is also being a little overdramatic here because with his logic, then how the hell did he think Boruto disposed of her and Damon if he thought there was just no way to stop her? Like, come on, how'd you have that much faith in Boruto? Unless they have some weaknesses where Boruto was just a perfect counter to them. We then see how manipulative Eida is when she's calling Shikamaru Shikadeer and telling him to relax and how she wants to cheer him on. Shikamaru's shadow possession then releases and Code pins Amado against the wall, tells Amado to comply, and begins to torture him, and this was a good shot of Amado looking in agony for once. Shikamaru then asks Eida what her motives are, to which Eida says she doesn't mind telling Shikadeer, and says that she likes Kawaki and is like, "Oh my god, I said it!" And once again, see how manipulative Eida is because she's just being a good actor here. She did not act like this when she told Code the exact same thing. She's just trying to look innocent. And she says how she's just getting help from Code and in return she's helping him regain his power. And Amado seems surprised that Eida likes Kawaki, and I think he might question her motives too. Eida is then like, "You just thought, how foolish, didn't you?" And Shikamaru is like, "Nope, not at all. I'm so happy for you. That's wonderful, in fact." And then he has a proposition for Eida, to join Konoha so they can aid each other. She can help the Leaf against Code, and then she can have Kawaki all she wants. And then Code is like, "What?" He's probably thinking, "Oh shit, I'm screwed now." However, I don't think Eida will actually become a Leaf ally, or if she does, it'll just be an act. Because this brings me to my point in my last video about Eida's master plan. Why wasn't that her first action, to just ditch Code and become a Leaf ally? As that would certainly be the easiest way to get in touch with Kawaki, and it's not like Code could kill her and Damon anyway, since her ability prevents him from doing so, and she said that she and Damon could beat him even after his limiters were removed. But instead she's trying to steal Kawaki, so I don't think she's going to become a true Leaf ally. She's either going to reject the offer, or she'll just pretend to be a good guy. So overall, this chapter gave us quite a bit of good information and foreshadowing for future events, and I liked that a lot. And the chapter was very dialogue heavy, which I'm not upset about, as I do think the pacing needed to slow down a little bit. However, this is where I get into my critique and how I think it could have been improved. My problem is how Eida, who showed the ability to somewhat control the others, or at least heavily influence them, didn't even pay attention to Amado or try to ask him to remove the limiters. She made no real effort for what she came there to do. She just talked to Shikamaru the whole time, and that just seems a bit too much like the dumb villain taking their sweet time trope, which doesn't really seem to fit Eida's character. Like, her whole thing was she was gonna help Code remove his limiters, and she wanted to kill Amado. She made no attempt to do that. It's a little more understandable for Code, but for Eida, nah, she seems like the type of person who just wants to get her shit done when she wants it done. I think the pacing did need to slow down a little bit after all the fighting with Code and Boruto and Kawaki, but the order in which this happened doesn't really make much sense to me. Right after Kawaki fights Code and Momoshiki saves Boruto and stuff, we immediately have Code jumping into the Leaf Village, and then we slowed it down this chapter while Eida and Code were both in the Leaf Village. In my opinion, a lot of the stuff with Boruto, Sasuke, Sarada, and Mitsuki really should have happened last chapter before Code entered the Leaf Village, and that chapter should have ended either with Code entering the village or with Delta appearing out of the pod. I think the time to slow it down should have been in chapter 68, not here in chapter 69 when Eida was in the village. I'm fine with Eida being all flirty and manipulative and with Shikamaru talking to Amado, but I think we should have gotten Eida's response to Shikamaru's proposition and then Amado giving the command to release Code's limiters to end the chapter. Or if that's too fast for you, then have another chapter of slow stuff before Code invades too. I just felt like the Eida and Code stuff was a little too conveniently slow for Shikamaru and the others, but that's just my opinion. Now then, for those of you still watching, thank you for sticking with me like I asked. I want some feedback on this video. Did you guys like this style of editing? I want to know if you like it better than how I've edited before, if you thought it was worse, if you thought it was equal but different, or if you didn't even really notice. Please give me specific feedback because in the past I've spent as much as 20 hours working on videos, but the way I edited this video was way quicker for me to do, which is why I was able to get a video up for tonight rather than staying up until like 8 AM trying to get this to you guys for tomorrow morning. So if you guys like this style of editing, it'll just help keep my sleep health in check, but I don't want the quality of my videos to drop, so please give me honest and specific feedback in the comment section below. And actually do it please, because I really should be seeing like 2,000 comments of feedback, or else you guys are mean and I'm gonna be really, really sad.
And very sad. And then he started to cry. He cried, and he cried, and he cried even more. And he kept crying, and crying, and crying, and crying.
But I want to hear what you guys thought about the chapter. Did you like what happened? Did you think the pacing was good? Was it too slow or too fast for you? And what do you guys think about the Sasuke death flags, the hinting that Sarada likes Boruto, and the information on Eida's abilities that we got? Let me know in the comment section below, and let me know when you think Code's limiters will actually come off, since they didn't come off in this chapter like I was hoping. But that's a wrap on today's video, so thank you guys for watching until the end. Like and subscribe if you're new, and get this video to 1,000 likes if you want to see an extra video next week. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.